If here. Huh? Oh well, we're still recording. Alright, my name is DJ CK, aka CC, your co-host.
It's your boy Ben. I don't have a fancy AKA. We'll figure one out soon.
Hey, we don't need fancy, but we are here. Style and thing. And let me tell you, we got a wonderful segment today. Okay? Oh, so um, today we're talking about one thing's for certain, two things for sure. Now, I know you all heard that back in the day when your parents said it to you, or you hear from your friends. It's one thing for certain, two things for sure.
Right.
So, what does it really mean? It's a big idea about life. Constant. Like you hear it all the time. It gives us uncertainty, but something like choices. It's like always a few undeniable truths we can always um anchor ourselves in like different aspects of what it's going to mean. So first off, we're going to start by asking a win over her.
Yeah, yeah.
What does that phrase really mean to you? Like, if somebody came to you and said one thing for certain, two things for sure,
What does it mean?
simple habit.
Yeah, we actually uh were together and heard this on what TV the other day, and I
We would actually just talk about the different sayings.
yeah, different colloquialisms in the African American community, and this one came up, but I had heard it particularly on I think Instagram or something like that. So for me, one thing's for certain, two things for sure. It's
It's
like
like
doubling
doubling
down
down
on
on
doubling down
doubling
on the
down on the
truth,
truth,
or doubling
or
down
doubling down
on
on
whatever it is that
whatever
you're
it is that
saying.
they're
So
saying. So
if I'm
if I'm
talking to my
talking to
boy
my
or
boy
friend
or
or
friend or
something, and I
something, and
say
I
one
say
thing's
one
for
thing's for
certain,
certain,
two things
two
for
things for
sure,
sure,
and then
and
I
then I
continue on
continue
to
on to
say
say
a
a
statement,
statement,
that
that
means my
means my
statement
statement
is
is
more
more
closely
closely
related
related
to
to
the
the
two things
two
for
things
sure
for sure
than the one thing
than
for certain.
the one
So
thing for
it's like
certain.
it's just a way
So it's like
of
it's just a
saying
way
that
of
what I'm
saying
about to
that
say is
what I'm
definitely
about to
true.
say is definitely true.
Indeed, indeed. It's so hearing that statement is like that shit finna be real. Like one thing for certain, I'm certain about this, but two things for sure, I know for a fact this shit is gonna be what it's gonna be. But let's take it up a notch. Uh, the duality in the conversation of this phrase, it becomes like what we know, what we think we know, what we automatically are going to bring to the head. I guess I could say it. It gives us a peace of mind that this is what's gonna happen. Um, but in the end, would you rather go for the one thing for certain side, or would you go to the two things for sure? Because you're gonna be certain, but you're
It's a
gonna be
matter
sure
It's a
too.
of
matter
it's
of it's
certainty more than
certainty more than
surety.
surety.
You
You
can be
know, you
certain
can be
about
certain
something,
about
or you can be
something, or you
sure
can be
about
sure
something.
about something.
So I don't
So
even
I
know.
don't
Maybe
even
we
know.
should look
Maybe
at
we
what
should
the
look at what the
definition of those
definition of
two
those two
words
words
are.
are.
I'll
Huh?
look that
I'll
up
look
right
that up
All
now
right.
right
just
now
to
Let's
just
do
add a
to
that.
little
add a little
context to the
context to the
conversation.
conversation.
So
Okay.
So
certain.
Yeah.
certain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And the
And the
definition of
definition of
certain
certain
is
is
known for
known for
sure,
sure,
established
established
beyond doubt.
beyond doubt.
Known for
Known for
sure,
sure,
established beyond
established
doubt.
beyond doubt.
And the definition of sure is confident in what one thinks or knows, having no doubt that one is right. So they're very similar. One is used as a definition of the other. But for some reason, I feel like certainty is more concrete, more solid, and I will go with certainty rather than surety. Because I feel like a surety or something that is for sure comes, it's still an opinion. It's still coming from an individual, and it's based off of their opinion, maybe their experience, and it may not necessarily apply to me. Let me try to give an example. So a certainty would be that you can be certain that the sun is going to come up in the morning.
Right.
You know, I mean, but we all know from science that in about 5 billion years that might not necessarily be the case. But as of today and tomorrow, I'm pretty certain that the sun is going to come up in the morning. And then surety, you can be sure that, you know, your dog's going to take a shit at some point in the day. I mean, now the dog could end up being sick and be constipated and might not take a shit, but for all intents and purposes, you were sure that was going to happen because you took the motherfucker for a walk and, you know, walked around the neighborhood, and he just kept looking at you like, nigga, take me back to the house because I'm not going to shit right now.
That part.
I don't know if those are the best examples, but that's all I have at the moment.
Have you ever noticed though how people speak in certainty about things that they can't control? We say we know what's next. We say we know people. We swear we understand life. But if life teaches us anything, it's this: certainty is expensive. Truth usually has two sides.
That's truth usually has more than one side.
Indeed, but
Not
you got
always, not just two.
there's
Your side,
this side and the other side.
and then there's the truth,
which usually encompasses
But the one thing's for certain and two things for sure.
right.
It's two sides. Hence two sides, one thing. Here.
One thing's for certain, two things for sure. One
You know,
thing for certain,
so-
two things for sure.
or you could say one thing's for
It's-
certain as if this is
You
one
can say
side
one
of
thing's
the
for certain, as if this is
argument or
one
the
side of the
situation.
argument or the
Two
or the
things for sure.
situation.
You have
Two
that
things
one,
for
that
sure.
one side that was already
You have
here.
that
Now
one,
there's
that one
another
side that was already
that's
here.
being
Now
put
there's
into
another
the
side that's
So
being
now we're
put into the
considering-
equation. So now we're
for
considering.
sure, I heard
You know,
both
for
sides
sure,
of the argument.
I heard both sides
And then
of the
the
argument.
statement that usually
And then the
follows
statement that usually
is
follows
something that either
is something that either encompasses
that
all of
argument,
that
or it's
argument,
a whole
or it's
other
a whole other
statement
statement referring to something outside of
those two sides.
those two sides.
I hope I didn't confuse somebody. Y'all get what I'm
So let's talk about why people crave so much of the certainty side. Like the fear of the unknown, how duality shows up in life. They crave so much of that certainty because they always want to be certain that something's going to happen. Because if they are certain that it's going to happen, then they are for sure that it's going to happen.
Right.
It's a success failure type situation, a love pain type situation, truth and perception, faith and doubt. Every story has two sides, but sometimes both are true.
That's
But
fair.
it's a different side to it. You know, what exactly is certain? You read the definition. The certainty, the illusion of control, explores how people really think they can control life. Like you said, they're for certain the sun's going to come up. So if they're certain that the sun's going to come up, they are for sure that the sun came up yesterday, so they're certain it's going to come up today. They control life on the aspect of planning life perfectly. They think expectations versus reality. They give themselves explanation on life. Quick reminder to say that this is gonna happen. It's like how they taught us in school with inferences, if then statements. If this happened, then this is going to happen. That's going to be the certainty behind it, is because you know for sure that's going to happen. It's like I did a podcast on whose normal is normal.
Nobody.
Nobody's.
Right.
Because your definition of normal is not my definition of normal.
Definitely.
But that doesn't mean that yours is the right one. It doesn't mean that mine's the right one.
No.
But I'm for certain that I'm normal.
Right. In your head.
In my head.
Right. But then you have to see it goes into stuff like that goes into understanding the word normal and what connotates in the English language. First of all, English is a bastardized language. It's not a pure language coming from a place of no interference or no influence by any other language. So we have words in English that are derived from other words in other languages, and we made our own version of them. Then you have to consider that English itself, or American English, has different variations. I'm from Virginia, so I speak a certain Southern dialect. Well, I don't speak it, but it's spoken in areas around me. And then there's certain, again, the term I used before, colloquialisms that are specific to maybe a race or a community or an environment or any of those types of things would determine the type of speech you use and what the meaning of a word will have. So normal to me is maybe a two-parent home in a suburban neighborhood, and making A's and B's in school and having a dog and riding my bike and playing baseball. Where normal to somebody else is having a working mother who taught you how to cook, because you got to cook for yourself and let yourself in the house. You got your own key, and not saying one is better than the other, but those are just two different variations of life, and we would both consider those things to be normal, especially if that's what we've grown up in and that's the only thing that we know. So
I like that.
but
I like
it's funny
that.
because I put in one thing for certain, two things for sure, and there is no real history of it, and all of the things that come up are Facebook posts. So let me see if there's any other like real etymology of it. I haven't really seen much. There's a few books out here that have that title. That's interesting.
Speaking of books, Little Bird told me you just published a book a couple days ago.
That would be correct. That would be correct.
Ooh, details.
Y'all, he's been very modest in the publishing, helped me in the publishing of this book. So a little backstory. Back in 2016. I did a little bit of time. The regional jail, Virginia. And 10 months was a long bit of slow time. But during my time in jail, I decided to ground myself in my writing. Jail, for those who've never been locked up, jail is a very chaotic place. Even though there's a lot of rules, and the correctional officers or the facility controls your movement, tells you when to go to sleep, tells you when to eat, all that stuff. The people in there are kind of all over the place. And I kind of consider myself as an intellectual and a thinker. So I chose writing to kind of maintain my dignity and keep myself intact and grounded. So while I was there, I ended up writing 33 poems, and I typed them up when I got out. I typed them up and I put them in my Google Drive folder, and that's where they stayed. That was a decade ago. And over the years, I've shared them with a few people, not very many. But when I met Mr. Sin here, just getting to know him, I thought, well, maybe I could share, my poetry with this brother, and let me get his idea on some of what I had written. Little did I know, Mr. Sin has his own publishing company. And when he looked at it, he said, man, we should publish this. And I'm like, what? I'm thinking to myself, what does this guy know about publishing a book of poetry for that matter? But that tells you never to judge a book by its cover, literally, because he was very knowledgeable in the process, and he helped me with the cover art. He helped me get it on Amazon. He helped me get it on Apple Books, and it's also on Google Play Books. But the name of the book is called Concrete Ivy, Verses from Incarceration. And it is a collection of poetry during my time in the Hampton Roads Regional Jail. And it's raw, it's unfiltered, and it's just a representation of the things that I saw while I was in there, the things that I thought about while I was in there, the things that I reflected on from the outside, from my life that I was missing. And there's a little bit of social commentary in there as well, some things that were happening on the news, and some things that had actually happened to me in there that inspired many of these poems. So if you are a fan of poetry or you just want to support, the book again is called Concrete Ivy, Verses from Incarceration. It's under the pen name of B. Tremaine Edwards. And you can get it on Amazon as well as Apple Books and Google Play Books. So, yeah. And Lil Birdie was correct, brother. I thank you for bringing that up.
So, do you plan on writing any more books or anything?
Of course, man. This experience and you helping me publish this book really has opened my eyes to what's possible in my own life. Like, just a little transparency. I am a 4-time convicted felon. I have mental health issues that I've been dealing with since I was almost 13 or 14 years old. I am also someone who has dealt with addiction issues. My parents have had addiction issues. So for a while there, I was a little down on myself, trying to figure out how I'm going to support myself. No one's going to hire me because I have all these felonies and these things on my record. But getting this book published and seeing the potential and the response from people that, I know and I don't know about the book have, put my mind in a different, given me a different perspective per se. And I do plan on writing other books. I do plan on expanding my business that I run. And just, I'm going to just keep going with where the good Lord leads me. And He's led me here, so like the old people say, He led me all this way just to let me die. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's a saying, but what is that saying? You didn't bring me far just to you didn't bring me this far just to leave me, something like that. I ain't been to church in a long time, so charge it to my head, not my heart.
So, I mean, in a sense, it's like one thing for certain. Two things for sure. One thing for certain, I know with the knowledge and everything that I have, I can also help other people either perfect a craft, believe in themselves, or even branch out or reach out for help. A lot of people don't think that they have it in them to become that person they thought about back in the day. Right. We overstimulated our mind to tell ourselves, oh no. Right. Me myself, I've been in the system quite a few times. Last time I was in, I took upon myself to say, that's it. I lost my mom, my grandmother, while being incarcerated, and it took a heavy toll on me. But in the end, doing the things that I'm doing now, as far as publishing books, artist management, on my own record label, artist development, helping people find their voice, their craft, whatever it is they want to do, and going through SK Visuals, we specialize in seeing what your vision is to make it become the visual that everybody else can see.
Right.
So it's never a dull moment, because I come across a lot of people and their visions and what they want to see come to life is amazing. So in the end, the certainty behind it all, the surety behind SK Visuals is always going to be as one. I'm certain that I can help someone find the surety in themselves to become that special person.
Right. That's dope. What would I put my certainty and surety in? One thing for certain, two things for sure. I'm certain that I'm capable of anything I put my mind to. I remember once when my aunt was alive, my aunt that raised me, we would have people come to the house with different things, fix whatever in the house, install something. I think she got Verizon Fios, and we would change it over from Cox Cable, and the man asked her something about the house or something about the TV or something like that. And I remember all I hear her say is, "We can ask my son. He can do anything." And I'm a little irritated because I'm like, I'm telling people I can do anything. This man is trained in, fiber optics and all this stuff. But sure enough, whatever he was asking me to do, I figured it out. I knew what he needed to be done with the television and with the system. So I'm certain that I can do anything that I put my mind to. And two things for sure, if given an opportunity, I'm going to impress, I'm going to deliver, I'm going to go above and beyond whatever the expectations are. And I've already proven that when it comes to the jobs that I've had, when it comes to being the first person in my college, in my family to attend and graduate from college. I've proven that in, overcoming incarceration and record to be a business owner and now an author. It's been what a decade since that incident, but I've had other run-ins with the law, but currently it's been 7 years since I've had any infractions. My brother got his license back.
Okay.
I've been voting. I take that very seriously. So for a period of maybe a year or two, I wasn't able to vote because here in Virginia, if you are convicted of a felony and you're incarcerated, of course you can't vote while you're in jail, but while you're on probation, I don't think that they will allow you to vote either. So I've gotten all those things back, and I feel like that is going above and beyond what is expected of people, especially black men from society. I think we expect more of ourselves than society expects from us. But that's my one thing for certain, two things for sure.
So my I would want to say, me being in the system, it like I said, it really took a toll on me. Lose my mom in 2020, and they gave me a 12-hour furlough. I was able to go to her funeral, but coming back into the jail, 9 months later, I lost my mom, my grandmother. So it really, really hit hard, because those are like one of my two favorite people in the world. So it became I guess my life became a dedication to them. I kept myself driven into trying to make them happy, trying to be that person that they would always see that's doing good in the world. It's like when it comes down to living for someone else other than yourself. Yes, I know I have my kids. I do live for my kids, of course. But I have my mother and father that raised me.
Right.
And steadfast. It was 10 toes down on my feet. I always had to think to myself and say, what is it that my mama would think of me right now?
Right. And that's a hard thing to really accept when you're in a situation like that. Think about the person that's loved you the most. What are they going to think about the situation I've created or that I'm in?
Right.
How are they going to react? Or how are they going to are they still going to love me? These are the things that ran through my mind.
Right. It's like, okay, so like when I came home, my mom, she was always adamant about going to college. Growing up, they called me quantum physics because I was so much into this computers that it was like there was no letting it go.
Right.
10 years old, I made a computer laptop out of a pizza box and a computer motherboard. So it's like I couldn't run from it. It was there. It was with me. So my ninth grade year, and I was in high school. I dropped out of school. Well, I got kicked out of school. I stole 4 laptops. We're not gonna talk about that. I ended up going to an alternative program. The alternative program, it was okay, because it helped me get back into public schools. But after I went to the public schools, they lost my 9th grade records. So I really didn't want to go back to school. They tried to make me repeat 9th grade, and they said that, if I don't, I'm not going to go to 12th grade and I wasn't going to graduate.
Wow.
Fuck all that. I ain't doing it. So I ended up starting to get my GED, starting over and doing this and that and the third, get my GED, and still trying to pursue college, But once I dropped out, I tried to be still stagnant into my studies and get myself together, but life kept throwing me these uncertainties. They started making me feel like I was never gonna get out of this funk, this stupor. Sooner or later, I got out of jail the last time back in 2021 after my mom passed. And I said to myself, I gotta do this. I gotta do this for her. So that's what I'm gonna do. Mama's birthday is October 6th. When I came home November 9th, 2021, I passed her birthday. I couldn't go to her grave site then to see her, but I waited. I studied. So October 6th of 2022, I got my GED. So it was on my mom's birthday. So my certificate, GED certificate says my GED on October 6th, 2022, mommy's birthday. Didn't stop there. My mom was a big fan of University of Phoenix, where she went to school at and college at, to further her degree in taxes, and I think she did also early childhood development. So, what did I do? I ended up going to college at University of Phoenix to get my bachelor's in computer science. Didn't finish. That's beside the point. Because I tried it and I did it. You know what I'm saying? It was the fact that it was being done. You know, and I know she looked at me with the biggest smile on her face, wherever the hell she was at, looking at me. Because one thing for certain, two things for sure.
Right.
Mama always know, and she knew I'm gonna be that computer science, and she knew I'm gonna be that person that's gonna make her happy.
Right.
And God damn it, I did that thing.
Well, I can definitely say congratulations on that, because it takes a very strong will to complete anything, especially after you've been knocked down once, twice, or however many times. And especially, you know, like I didn't lose my mother when I was in jail. I lost an uncle. And I remember that feeling. I remember the feeling of somebody I love is gone. And I'm not even gonna, like, it took me a few seconds to kind of realize I'm not even gonna be able to go. Well, I wasn't able to go to my uncle's funeral. But I remember I was talking to my husband on a video visit, and just greeted him, and you know, everything was cool. It happened to be a particularly good day, and he was like, "How you doing? What did you do today?" And I told him having a good day and all that stuff, and he said, "Good, because I have something to tell you." He said, "Your Uncle Wendell passed away." And my husband was just kind of very matter of fact with it, which I appreciate, because you know, you don't want to beat around the bush for things like that. But I just remember sitting there, and just all of the thoughts came back that came into my mind at that one time. And I actually recently went out to his grave. Me and my mom went out there, probably about a month ago. That was my first time visiting his gravesite. But so I'm saying that to say it takes a lot to deal with those blows, especially when you're being held in captivity, and to maintain a plan, not even a plan, but just maintain the desire to want to get out and continue on with life and do those things that are still meaningful to you. And to for me, it was still honoring the people that I've lost, you know, during my life. I try to live my life in a way that will honor my mother, my father, and my uncle and my aunt, and you know, all the people that I feel like poured into me. So, but that's one thing for certain, and two things for sure. You know, you gotta honor your family, not just your mother and father, but all the elders, all the ancestors that came before you. You know, I take that very seriously. So, and I think we're doing that, and little things that we do, little wins that we have, the accomplishments that we achieve. They celebrate right along with us. You know, like Young Love, Oprah, and Maya Angelou said, you don't walk into a room alone. You stand on the shoulders of the tens of thousands of people that came before you.
So one thing for certain is never how you feel, the negatives that's jumping down your throat in your life. You don't want to sit there and always think that whatever's happening so negatively is gonna always be negative.
Right.
So you base your certainty off the surety is going to change. Like transitioning from the jail to the street is gonna be something crazy. You gotta have that mindset. You gotta have that
You have to be willing to make that transition and know there's a different environment. It's a different
Right.
It's a different expectation.
And when you do have that peace of mind that you did something that you knew was going to happen, applaud yourself, give yourself a clap on the back, let yourself know that if nobody got you, you got you. You know what I'm saying? Give yourself that pat on the back, because at the end of the day, you made it and you did it on your own. You know what I'm saying? We've gone into this like 35 minutes, I think it is. So we're gonna wrap it up. But I'll tell you now, one thing for certain,
And two things for sure.
this has been a nice little session. Next time,
It'll be even better.
it'll be way better. I'm your boy DJ Sin.
I'm your boy Big Ben.
We out here, you heard?